Hi, and thank you for joining us for another Monday Encouragement video. So, last week we spoke about the importance of embracing how God sees us and also embracing what He's placed inside of us to accomplish His purpose, plan, and expectation. So, this week I wanted to look at not just embracing how He sees us and embracing what He's placed inside of us, but in order for us to do that, we have to be willing to let go of our past decisions, let go of our past hurts or past disappointments, let go of our this. Okay, and this is anything that would cause us to stumble or to hinder us from accomplishing God's purpose, plan, and expectation. So everyone has their own this. And today I just want to talk about letting go of your this. So I'm going to be looking at Mark chapter 10, verses 46 to 52. And they came to Jericho, and as he went out of Jericho with his disciples and a great number of people, blind Bartimaeus, the son of Timaeus, sat by the highway side begging. And when he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to cry out and say, Jesus, thou son of David, have mercy on me. And many charged him that he should hold his peace. But he cried the more a great deal, Thou son of David, have mercy on me. And Jesus stood still and commanded him to be called. And they called the blind man, saying unto him, Be of good comfort, rise, he calleth thee. And he, casting away his garment, rose and came to Jesus. And Jesus answered and said unto him, What wilt thou that I should do unto thee? The blind man said unto him, Lord, that I might receive my sight. And Jesus said unto him, Go thy way, thy faith has made thee whole. And immediately he received his sight and followed Jesus in the way. And so here we see this man who had a negative identity. Okay, he was just known as the blind son of Timaeus. You know, I'm sure there were people who were walking by and were saying, "Oh, there's that blind beggar son of Timaeus." But when he got to the point where he was sick and tired of just seeing people go by accomplishing what God called them to do, and he was just standing on the outside looking in, he got to the point where he said, I'm tired of this. Enough is enough. I can't live like this anymore. And it said in verse 47 that he began to cry out and say, Jesus, thou son of David, have mercy on me. He got to the point where he said, whatever it takes for me to not be like this, whatever it takes, Jesus, for me to transition from being hindered in what you've called me to do, from what you've placed inside of me, this faith that you've placed inside of me, whatever is hindering it from lining up with your word, I'm sick of it and I want to let go of it. And it was when he got to that point that it caught Jesus' attention, and Jesus stopped and said, bring him to me. You know, it says here that in verse 50, he said, and he, casting away his garment, rose and came to Jesus. So we have to get to that point where we are done with our past, we're letting go of our past, we're ready for transition. Because this man was looking for a transition, and he was crying out to Jesus for a transition. He wanted a change from his stagnant life. He wanted a change from his current situation. And he said, God, have mercy on me. Change where I am. Draw me into something else. Draw me into something deeper. Life has to be better than this. There has to be this abundant life that you talk about has to be available for me also. And it was at that point that he got Jesus' attention, and Jesus was able to make that transition. He asked him, what do you want me to do? And blind Bartimaeus said, transition me. Move me to somewhere different. I don't want to be in the same place anymore. And when we get to that point of saying, this is enough, you know, I don't want to be like this anymore. I don't want to hold on to that hurt. I'm letting go of all my past. I don't want to hold on to disappointments. I don't want to hold on to resentment or bitterness. Then we can cry out to Jesus. He can hear us, and he can cause us to have a transition. But note in verse 50, it said that, and he, casting away his garment, rose and came to Jesus. So what that means is that when we come to God, we have to be naked. We can't hold on to it. There can be nothing in life, nothing in this world that we're holding on to, saying, okay, God, I want to do this, but I'm holding on to this also. He said he cast away his garment. Those garments were his beggar garments, his blind beggar garments. He threw them aside and came to Jesus completely empty, completely loose of everything. And at that point, Jesus said, Now, I am the word, and you brought your faith. Now something can happen. Now transition can happen. And so as single mothers, sometimes we hold on to the past of who did what to us and why this happened and how could they. But we have to be able to let it go and let that faith arise inside of us that God has placed inside of us, and line it up with his word so it can frame his word and say, okay, God, here I am, transition me, make that transition in my life. And then we can see clearly. Blind Bartimaeus was no longer blind Bartimaeus, but he could see. And that's where God wants to take us as mothers, so we can see clearly what he has called us to do, so we can be the best mothers he has called us to be, in the best place that he has called us to, so that we can receive that life abundantly. We have to be willing to let go of a poverty-stricken mind, okay, so that we can hold on to God's abundance. But it takes us bringing our faith, our raw faith, in line with his word, and then we can see that miracle happen. So this week I want to encourage you, let it all go. Let it all go. Take a deep breath, breathe it all out, and come to Jesus naked with your faith and say, here I am, and line up our faith with his word, and we're going to see a miracle happen. Be blessed, and I will see you next Monday. Thank you for joining us.